Well, welcome everybody. We're back to the lovely, horrible, horrific, dark, depressing region of Or, where the rest of the series will be taking place. So we are currently at the Lone Post. You saw me unlock this in the most recent episode, or maybe it was the one before. And our goal now, having defeated the Eye of Zhaitan, or one of the Eyes of Zhaitan, they've been kind of vague on that, we now need to go defeat a Mouth of Zhaitan. So the Eyes have been looking for magical artifacts that the Mouths have been eating, and thus giving Zhaitan more power. So we're on a hell of an adventure, really. Quite a long walk this time. Luckily, the southern invasion is still pushed here as I start to record. The Risen Assault on the Lone Post, oh, it says it failed. It hasn't actually failed. It's here. And the Pact remain in control of the southern entrance, though. There you go. So maybe it did fail, but we have control here. We've defended this successfully. We have a little bit of Safe Haven and Sanctuary you saw us unlock before. Now, the previous mission was down here with the Blighted Battleground and the Hidden Champion and all that stuff. We are now going to progress in. So what can I say about Orion architecture? We got little glimpses of it in the past before, obviously. I think that concept art, as the game goes forward,
dangerous than I envisioned. Are you sure there's something worth this?
Of course there is, you dolt. Keep moving, and don't worry so much about these Risen. They're no match for my wits.
Your wits and my fists. Oh, I do love smashing things.
Man, there's an event that's just started there, and we can hear it, but they're like through that wall. If we come around this way, maybe we can get to them. This might be kind of a cool event for us to do as we progress deeper in. Concept art as we go forward should sort of show a little bit more of what Or looked like when it was in its prime. It's deliberately, I think, really abstract. It's kind of like what we saw ArenaNet did with Guild Wars 1 in Kaineng City, where it looks like a thing, but if you scrutinize it, it's kind of hard to tell if it really is a thing. Like these bricks here, these steps, you can imagine these as a part of some large plaza and grand architecture, but they kind of fall apart to any sincere scrutiny. Just like Kaineng, really, which was supposed to look like a really cluttered, slummish kind of Kowloon the Walled City style environment. My god, that's a lot of Risen. Luckily, we've got a few players here. We've actually got a commander with a blue tag, which is very nice, because back when the game originally came out, there were only blue tags, and I kind of like the idea. Do these guys actually have dialogue for us? Oh, look, they do. So what are they on? Talk is cheap, action is what's needed. If you make yourself useful on this expedition, you'll be rewarded. Okay, well, I like the sound of that. And what exactly are they doing? They're going to a conservatory, which looks like we're kind of at one right now. Earth Elementals basically signals to us we're in some kind of Melanju-oriented area. I'm not sure if I fully described it so far, but as we walk through Or, you'll find these statues. So you can see these ones are called Balthasar Statues. In fact, I think we'll only find Balthasar Statues. Oh, no, there you go. We got a Grentz statue.
This is what you brought us for? There's nothing here, you tiny little cretin.
Cretin? Coming from you, that's a laugh. Ha! There may appear to be nothing to your untrained eyes, but my eyes spy something very interesting over there. I knew it.
What did you find?
I don't have time to explain it to you. Suffice it to say, once I sell it, I'll be able to buy my way back to the top.
Back to the top? What? So hold on. I'm kind of nervous about this.
I just need to get it out. It seems to be stuck. Could one of you lend a hand?
Let me give it a try, boss. I've got muscles to spare.
You have unsealed your dooms. I will bring you to Zhaitan, and you will spend the rest of your days fulfilling his will.
You'll have to kill me first.
That's the idea. Prepare to meet your better.
All right. So it's a Risen Wizard that we have to... Oh, my God, and she has a million other allies with her. Jesus Christ. So we'll take her out. Yeah, that was kind of scary. Knowing the depths of Zhaitan's ability to spy, that could have gone anyway.
Entirely outside the realm of statistical likelihood. I'll have to adjust future calculations. Nonetheless, it has been a successful expedition. What happened to the artifact?
Must have been smashed during the fight. I can't see it anywhere.
This is the last time I listen to anyone who isn't in my war band. I'm leaving.
All my precious money. Gone. Crushed into powder. Wait, don't leave me behind.
Ah, where war bands meet crews, eh, guys? We actually do get some reward from him. Do we get a chest? I guess there is a chest that spawns over here for us as players, so we can at least nab a little something. But yeah, these Earth Elementals around, right? So basically the idea here is that throughout Or, there are temples, statues, sorry. There are both temples and statues. Let's just deal with the statues for now. Statues to the various gods. And that when the game launched, there was a mechanic that meant if the Elder Dragon Zaitan owned the temple for the gods, such as, you know, Balthazar Temple, which is here in Straits of Devastation, then all of the statues to the god would also be owned by Zaitan, and they'd be corrupted and filled with these horrible risen everywhere, right? And they do area effects, so all the Balthazar statues would be doing burning damage and stuff, and they'd be kind of dangerous areas to stand near. But if you managed to take the temple, all of the statues instead would flip, and instead of it being Zaitan minions there in danger, it would instead be elementals. So if you owned Melanju, earth elementals would spawn in earth elemental statues, such as over there. It was kind of a really cool idea. Look at that animation, all the eyeballs falling around. That is gross. I don't think I've ever really noticed or cared to see that. Wow. So yeah, that's kind of the idea, and why sometimes you'll find elemental creatures and sometimes you'll find risen. And the thing about the elemental creatures is that they actually have a chance to drop really high-end crafting loot, which we'll talk about as we go further forward. So, yeah, that's kind of a thing. Also, by killing this boss, we open this gate and we get to go a bit further in. Here's the gatekeeper for the other side. I wonder if this also has an eyeball-style thing. Yeah, look at this. Oh, I wonder what it's called. So if we go to our chat log and we type damage taken, sorry, not damage done. It's called Blighted Wave. That's a cool ability. I wish Necros had that. You know, the devs could just basically copy-paste that skill animation and put it on some kind of Necro ability. Super cool. All right, speaking of Necro as well, as we go deeper in, there was a little bit of balance between the two most recent episodes, which has put me back on minions, as you can see. Now, the reason is because of the Death Magic Grandmaster trait. Hopefully, you guys will remember when we talked about it. Whenever us or one of our minions dies, it creates a poison cloud, but also summon a Jagged Horror whenever you kill something. You see these little... Where are they? Do I have any Jagged Horrors around? Oh, one of them just died, I think. So when we kill this Subjugator, it might be hard to see because my Zerg is going to make things really difficult to look at. Right? But you see, when he dies, this little jagged... no, that's a bone minion. Where are my Jagged Horrors, damn it? Anyway, we should get Jagged Horrors out of the bodies. You used to only be able to get 2. Now you can get 5. So the actual amount you can swarm is way, way, way up now. And if you can take out a big group, then you get to summon a lot of stuff. And I kind of want to see how it feels.
I'm having so much fun.
All right, so... getting through sort of the rough walls and stuff on the perimeter of Ore. We're now kind of in the more open plains. What is going on here? We have a Pact chopper sieging the Risen over there. There's a giant hill with a fire on the top. Can you see that? And that's a massive statue. That is the Temple of Balthazar. It's a very dangerous place that I do not intend to necessarily go near. At the moment, we can see from the meta event that apparently he was defeated. So that's very cool, but we missed that whole event. And that'll be a story for another time, I think. What these guys are doing... Oh my god, it's a giant crate. Oh, and they're just giving us siege to run around with in the map, right? Yeah, you see this giant dead Risen here. I think there was an event that these players just beat, where you kill that guy, and then, like, your reward is environmental weapons you can throw around. Not very good, and environmental weapons obviously never became a big part of the design of the game in the end, as I talked about way earlier in the series. But a cool thought. So yeah, our job really, though, is we do need to just keep moving and get beyond these fields. This place here, Triumph Plaza, is pretty important, though, because it's a big Pact establishment. Essentially, the idea is once the 3 initial invasions conclude, all of them then push for second escorts, which I kind of wanted to show you here on this video, but none of them were live, where you just walk. There's no real great dialogue, so don't worry, you're not missing out big time. You basically just walk to this camp, where you'll see the Order of Whispers of Sneaky, and I love that there's Whispers NPCs defending the gates, helped us hide in this cave structure overlooking the Temple of Balthazar, see? And you get all kinds of different NPCs. So let's see who we can talk to here, and exactly what might be going on. This would just be another sneaky side entrance, I suppose. Actually unguarded. Good stuff there, guys. What else do we have, though? We've got bottles, medics, healing people up. We haven't seen that since we were back on the mainland, I think, on the regular Tyrian coast, right? We saw an old medic outpost. This is called the Pact Rally Point, and we do get a scout. So again, there's no hearts, but scouts do have some value in that they tell us...
This rally point has become a crucial staging ground for Pact forces who've made landfall in Ore. From here, Pact leaders will be taking our forces further south towards the heavily guarded Altar of Betrayal, home to one of Zaitan's powerful minions. We need to capture that altar and remove the dragon's minion to disrupt our enemy's hold on Ore.
Which is a meta event at the Temple of Balthazar. As I say, people have done without us here, so... I mean, I kind of like that actually this episode is showing that one of the escorts isn't there and that one of the temples has already fallen. Because that's a part of Guild Wars, you know. That's what the living worlds, as it was originally, you know, dreamed up from dynamic events. That's what it causes. This was like one of the criticisms of the game at launch, that sometimes you missed out on events and whatnot. So
because we must.
I think it's cool that we get that little bit of flavor. I swear there's someone really interesting we can talk to here, at least, though, that has, like, changing dialogue based on your options.
Some must fight so that all may be free.
There's a fellow Silvari. Hello, Arcanist Repth. Keeper Fleet Hunter's forces successfully captured the Altar of Betrayal from the Risen. Why was that altar so important? Well, Zaitan was reaching out from the temple to rouse statues of Balthazar to attack our troops from all across Or. Well, so well done. We should advance further into Or. Their group needs to stay and hold the altar, but you should press on to join the Pact forces in Malkor's Leap. Here we go. This is really nice. So, you're going to see something super interesting at this point in the game. And it's some interesting design that the devs have shied away from, I think. Basically, ArenaNet knows that as people come to this map, they want to be doing the personal story. And the personal story is taking us out of the Straits of Devastation all the way over here into the next map, Malkor's Leap. So, they know that. But there's also all this cool content and, like, there's this story about this altar. And you'll notice here that they haven't forced me to do it. And it's over here, sorry. They haven't forced me to do it, I guess, in the event that the event's just finished and they don't want me waiting around or whatever. But they could have just let me walk through because the event was done, I suppose. But basically, what happens in Or is people end up missing a lot of the stories and a lot of the content because they can just skip. Because they can just go on through. And that will become a big thing later as well with the first expansion. I just had to cut the video there because I just moved the map over to where the first expansion is and I realized that might be a bit of a spoiler. So anyway, yeah, kind of cool. What else does he do? He sells us some stuff. There's a letter home. I don't ever open these, but maybe one day they'll find their way to the right people. It might be morbid, but I look at it as a sign of hope. This letter home, doesn't that just make you think of like World War I or World War II and troops sending letters back to their mothers and wives and daughters and stuff? We've got Pact maces. Sometimes alliances are so much held together as it's forced into place. I think we read some of this already. By the time most soldiers get here, they need a new pair of boots. That's a cool thought as well about how remote we are. So here else we got. Well, we got some Hylek. Check it out. Of course, had been known to be recruited to the cause. It's no good to stand and talk. We must be prepared to move out at a moment's notice. What are you doing way down here in Or? Hylek care about this state of the land too. Or is a danger to all Tyria. The corruption has taken my people as well as yours. You have every reason to fight. We're glad to have you. And of course, if we were a different character right now, we might understand that even better. So here, somebody has just triggered this hero. And what I would like to do is wait and have that be killed so I can trigger it myself and find out what the dialogue is for you all. However, my minions have now started attacking it. So there's nothing I can do. We're going to get credit when this guy dies. Unless maybe I go to character select. Oh, we could do that. We could go to character select. Okay, hold on. So 3, 2, 1, log back in. So like the Straits of Devastation here is what I was talking about with the concept art, right? You can kind of get the feel of these as enormous skyscrapers, like arch-shaped skyscrapers or something, you know? Yeah, it worked. Awesome. Okay, so Vigil Tactician.
Begins with one good deed.
Oh, does it now? To fight well, you need to be aware of your body. You must relax and balance your weight. Would you like me to show you what I mean? Sure. All right, was that worth it, guys? We actually killed all of our minions with that as well, so we're going to resummon, and we'll just death by 1,000 cuts grind her down. I do want to show you another Necro skill today as well, just as we start rounding out fully the end of this class in terms of utility skills. So I'll see you for that in a minute. Okay, so there we go. We had the help of this Char with double pistols fighting that with us as well there. So we get the hero challenge. Excelsior to you too. So yeah, in terms of skills, let's just have a quick look, all right? We showed off all the signets now. We showed off all the corruptions. We've showed off all the minions. Well, we have one final well. I'm not really going to use this much, but it's called the Well of Power. It's actually named after a really important well from the original game. But so let's equip this, the Well of Power. And I'll use that in our first fight when we get to one later. All right, so I think that's pretty much it from the Pact rally point. Or, no, something tips me off that it's not it, but I don't know. We get these Skrit and Asura standing side by side in order to siege the Risen over this plateau. That's pretty cool. And here we can cross out into the crippled bridges and the land beyond. Look at this, man. Look at these vistas. It almost feels like we could be underwater right now, right? Like, you know, like those old MMOs where they didn't actually have underwater, like, mechanics, so you just walk on the bottom of the the lake or whatever, and you just kill enemies. Look, this is like the surface of the water, and we're just walking around. It's so cool. I actually wonder if the devs put this visual effect up in the sky to give that sensation that that was like the surface of some great sea up there. Probably not. Probably just because it looks really badass, right? Oh, but what a gorgeous area. There are about 100 different things in Straits of Devastation, events we could see, and hopefully I'll try and splice some of their audio in future episodes and whatnot. But we're going to travel through. So, the Well of Power. The target area where I cast this well will pulse, and what it will do is convert any conditions on your allies into boons, and it will grant might at the same time. So here, I'll put it down. It's basically a support well. You can see my might going up and up and up, which means I do more damage, but also I give might to my minions who do more damage. And that's always been kind of a really cool idea for me, for a minion mancer build, where you give them lots and lots and lots of might. In fact, we could try that in a second on the LP. That could be kind of fun. By swapping on Blood is Power. This was the skill you saw from a long time ago that gives you lots of might. The thing is, it doesn't give much might in PvE, only PvP, so you kind of don't get that fun idea. But yeah, and also, if me and my minions were all condition damage, that could be pretty good. You'll remember that one of my traits is the minions take my conditions. Well, if they've taken too many, I can actually cleanse them with that well. It's kind of an idea. I'm a little bit lost and scared right now. Let's see what we've got. Let's grab some POIs as well. So the POIs and place names in Ore are all amazing. And, like, from a world building perspective, one of the most fascinating things about it, because they're all, like, Turkish and Arabic and just... they're all really exotic sounding places, okay? So here we got a thing called the Monastery of Tugra with an Asura in it. There is an event that usually spawns here. I guess it's not up right now. He's got a broken golem. Or she does. I crashed my battle suit, but I was able to salvage enough from it to make a decent weapon. Are you interested? Wow, so this is the experimental laser weapon variant, VL992. Double click to gain. All right, we'll pick that up. Thank you. Yeah, if we'd done that event, then we might have got an additional reward here. So we can equip the laser gun. What does it say we have here? Experimental laser blast. Blast your foe with a laser and put vulnerability on them. Okay, so should we see how it looks? Here, there's a risen noble. Also, it's like an elementalisty, almost lightning beam, it seems, that just keeps channeling. Oh, and I can just keep going with it. It's very low damage, it seems. But I don't mind laser beaming them out since we've got all of our minions to help us out at the same time here. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. I really like that idea. So you'll see that we just killed a noble. What you'll find is the enemies in just regular ore, like here, like just big open fields, just dead, wasted lands, where Zaitan hasn't necessarily mustered forces or anything. You'll find that there's just like corrupted fauna, like risen drakes, as we can see here, and risen drake hatchlings. I think the risen drake hatchlings at the end of the game, by the way, are a really cool thing, because one of my earliest memories of this franchise is Queensdale and the Drake broodmothers and the hatchlings way back there, you know, near the Queensdale Dam, where you can do the crabbing and stuff. I remember that so clearly. And so to come to the end of the game and just see all, like, the undead ones, you know, just sort of casually wandering around. For some reason, I think of the two together, and I really like it. I don't know. But not just that, you won't just find fauna. You'll also just find, like, nobles and jesters and wizards and people, probably citizens of Ore from so many years ago, that were destroyed in the cataclysm and then rotted away at the bottom of the sea for hundreds of years. And then Zaitan found them and was like, hey, yeah, this body's okay. I'll go for this. And I think that's kind of amazing. I love seeing them just wandering around. Some of them are like this corruptor, and they actually seem to be more damage-oriented, but yeah. So here we got Grentz Graveyard. A faint but palpable energy emanates from these tenebrous catacombs. The silent inhabitants of the stone sarcophagi seem unwilling to succumb to the fact of their demise. Oh my god, how well written is that? So, yeah, and we're going to see so much influence from the gods. Grentz, you know, he has his own temple, and it's very, very, very far away. But here at the Blood Trough, which is where you've been seeing me play, at the Blood Trough is a cemetery that the Orions kind of did... and you got to remember, they make this cemetery while the gods are, like, active in their lands. Theoretically. I mean, Ore also existed for a long time when the gods were gone as well. But you could just see how the godliness of the humans oozes into everything here. This is the oh my god, I used to know how to say this word. Anathenium? Anyway, it's super badass. And then we also get the POI. The Zaitian Anathema. Why is it the Zaitian? I mean, this is so cool. So the Zaitian are strict followers of Balthazar. Now, remember that, guys.
Fight them off!
Have at ya.
Oh god, there's Risen attacking our Pact friends that have helped us establish this place. I'm going to drop the laser beam here if it's a proper event. Yeah, so the Zaishan were followers of Balthazar that we knew in the original game from, like, the PvP Isles. And here we see that there's Zaishan that lived in Ur, right? Like, that has a lot of lore implications that I think a casual player just wandering through wouldn't really respect or appreciate to any degree. And yet here we are, and we kind of get to have fun with it and realize that straight away. If you can, try and remember that fact, the Zaishan, followers of Balthazar, because it'll become more relevant in the game later. With original Lion's Arch, before it, you know, changed because of upcoming patches and storylines, you know, the Lion's Arch we visit when we've been doing story and we first met Destiny's Edge and stuff, that Lion's Arch. If we could fully explore that, we would have found some Zaishan there as well, just kind of casually milling about. And it seemed like the devs maybe had some plans for them in LA that weren't really done in the end. But damn, okay, so there's 7 Risen remaining here. What a cool place. And like so you got the crippled bridges. We don't know what this POI is. Don't worry, the other assaults will get vision of eventually. Elysium Beach. Elysium to me, I just always think of Mars. And yeah, maybe some areas to the south. We were in the Blighted Battleground, the Xenorous Bait, Triumph Plaza. All right, so yeah, let's clear this up. Where's the last Risen? Who is it? I don't. Is it that guy? What's the bet? And it's this wizard here, or it's going to be that veteran subjugator?
Well done. Search the graveyard and see what you can find.
Okay, so they're just checking the graveyard. I want to get some dialogue from her. Didn't she have some a second ago?
Hold on. I may have something here.
Ooh. I know it was her. It was Skull and Nabby, wasn't it? Okay, I'm waiting.
Brilliant. Another relic. As thrilling as this is, my dread is growing the longer we stay here.
Focus on what's important. Why don't we try examining this artifact we just found?
An excellent idea. Let's see what we have.
I'd rather we did that on our way back to safety.
Oh god, okay. I love how the Priory are basically just still scrabbling for artifacts and seeking to learn more about the land. This hasn't got anything to do with the war effort, has it? I mean, they might chance into something.
Truth and knowledge are two different things.
Oh, this was all scripted and set up. It feels like there was going to be an event there, doesn't it? It feels like there was going to be a boss. But they just skipped through that. I'm preoccupied with excavating relics, but Nabby may be able to help you. Well, she just became a karma merchant. So we've been getting karma for doing events the whole way through the game, and now we've got a lot of places to spend it in. Or could I offer you some of our finds? This site could yield so many more if we could only rid ourselves of the Risen. What are you doing? Well, we came in search of buried Orion artifacts and ancient insights to help the Pact in our war. Yeah, all right, to help the Pact. What have you got there? Okay, so a cannonball. Greetings and salutations.
History never lies. Historians, however.
That makes me think of friggin' Might and Magic. Ancient Orion Urn. Would we like to buy these? Well, these are actually really good. Like, so you see here, this gives me precision, toughness, and condition damage. It's better than the earrings I had crafted at level 50. And this necklace is a really good amulet as well. I'm actually going to pick these up. Let's get the runestone necklace and an ancient Orion urn. Oh, and that even gave me some credit for one of the legendary weapon acquisitions in the game. That's still a story I haven't told you about. That's still a feature I haven't told you about that we will get to at the end of the series. Don't worry. And yes, that's still all free-to-play stuff. Oh, wait, no. Is it still free-to-play? I think it might be. I don't know, actually. Anyway, what was I doing? All right, yeah, we're going to equip our stuff. So these old things here, let's get a little bit of condition damage. So necromancers obviously are really good at condition damage. Wait, what was that? I feel like I equipped it and then nothing happened. All right, well, we can equip that one at least. All right, cool. Oh no, it's up here. Okay, it's the ancient Orion urn. So beautiful, lovely. All right, okay, we got to get a move on though. We are actually in a bit of a hurry. There is a dangerous mouth of Zaitan we need to deal with here. This is what good RPGs do though, right? They distract you and they make you consider other things that are going on in the area and just throw little side quests at you as you progress to your new objective. So here we've got a collection of char sieging out towards the Blood Trough. Hello. Oh, it's not just char. There's some Norn here as well. These guys look super badass, don't they? And it's very loud here at this machines. Agent Chorn. It's a good thing these choppers are here. These undead aren't gonna know what hit them. That's right. The thought that they could take out our choppers, but we showed them, with those cannons gone, we can keep raining down the destruction. Victory will be ours. We got Smokeblade. Well, our choppers managed to survive the anti-air cannon assault. We'll be able to take out more troops than they are undead now. Having a chopper in the air will give us the edge we need to get some real damage out of there. So basically, the story here is there's some events, right, where the Risen build anti-air, and you have to destroy the anti-air to keep your air... Like, at any point, look up, guys, right? There's a whole world of things above us. Look at this airship moving, and there's a dragon nearby. But these are providing air support to us that wouldn't have been able to if players hadn't come here and destroyed the air support. Who knows, on another adventure through, maybe we'll see that going on. That's kind of the magic, right? That the world changes each time you re-go through. So, here we have the Chapel of Lady Glaive, who is a character you hopefully can, if you watch my Guild Wars 1 Eye of the North series, will recognize to do with some of the dungeons there and had some historical lore. Now, here's the thing. That champion Risen Captain is going to be really dangerous. I kind of want to go in her crypt and kill it and see if there's any dialogue and stuff and get to that chest there. You'll notice all these chests everywhere, but that's going to be pretty dangerous and I probably won't be able to beat it. It's too strong. So, and these child won't be able to help us either. So, unfortunately, we can't go into the crypt. I like the suggestion as well, by the way, here, that there's a full set of catacombs underneath, like the size of the Ascalon catacombs or whatever, a whole dungeon. And we could just use our imagination to pretend it's there, you know, as though the devs had the resources to do it the whole time. And maybe the same here. Anyway, so I'm going to leave that crypt because I don't want to die. Here you go. Look, the Risen are now attacking the Altar of Betrayal off in the distance. You can see it's all the way over there now. Oh, look, and the tank nearby is getting attacked. This is actually at the end of the map now. Oh, my God, that's a lot of Risen. And we just had a dragonfly overhead. Okay, at least there's players here. Let's move over. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Do these guys have anything to say before I get into this event? We got a Pact tank. It actually has a health bar. It's like what we saw at the Black Citadel all that time ago. You can see that all the construction and things that they've been dealing with. We've got subs, tanks, airships, choppers. The Risen won't stop until they've retaken this space. Help keep the tank running or we're doomed.
What's on your mind?
The tank has to be protected or we'll lose a vital rallying point for our troops. So you'll notice here we have a waypoint, but it's locked. I can't go to the Sentry waypoint for as long as this is here. So I get the idea of what the devs are doing with this event. That's the exit to the map right there. And I think that what they really want to do, what their hearts want to do, is they want to stop you being able to go to the next map unless this event is done. And there's like a sense that we've cleared our whole way through. You know, we did the invasions.
We'll send you back to Zaitan before you can move.
We did the side stuff. And now, you know, there's one final defense of this doorway. But they never actually lock the door off. So there's a very high chance that most players won't see this. And they just kind of, you see this road here, this subtle suggestion of road. They could just kind of wander along this. And then they'll go through and they're done. So I feel like there's all these really cool ideas that ArenaNet don't go for in Ore because they want the game to be as accessible as possible. And I'm sure there'll be lots of advocates for that philosophy and mentality in the comments. But I feel like we do lose a little bit of... You know, there's a lot of players that don't get enough out of Guild Wars because they kind of aren't forced to get a lot out of Guild Wars. I don't know what that really says, to be honest, but there you have it. So yeah, this tank's shooting. It's still very loud. Anyone else want to talk to us? I think that's pretty much everyone here. You'll notice as well that so many of these events are giving us chests at the end. And when I'm opening those chests, I'm getting some pink items. Where are they? Here, these. We've been collecting these throughout this video, and some of you have been really wondering about them. They're called Imperial Fragments. So they are one of 3 materials that define the end game crafting. There's Imperial Fragments from, as far as PvE is concerned, from like doing exploration stuff, so jumping puzzles and finding hidden areas and opening chests, okay? So you can get a lot of these in Ore at the end of the game because there's lots of chests and things. So you do the weird out of the way events, you do the weird out of the way jumping puzzles and secret areas, you get Imperial Fragments. So this is kind of like your exploration thing. Next you have Bloodstone Dust. This we've talked about already. We've been given it basically for killing big bosses and looting large like world so this is Bloodstone Dust. Oh god, we're being attacked. Oh my god, that's a whole wave as well. Bloodstone Dust is the second of the 3, and that's really for like killing champions that drop loot, and then you can kind of loot them. And then there's a final one as well called Dragonite Ore. And Dragonite Ore is for doing really big events and really big bosses. So, for example, if we had dealt with this temple up here, we would be getting Dragonite Ore from something like that. There was a bit of dialogue we missed here, but because I was in Death Shroud and sort of halfway planeswalking between this reality and another, I didn't quite hear what they said. Maybe if you pause and rewind, you'll get to see it a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, 30 seconds. They're really throwing a lot at us now. It would be very cool if I could get in this tank and fire it. We know that that's possible for the game engine, but I guess not here. Oh, they're actually starting to kill my minions as well. So here you'll see I'm actually sustaining 8, 9 minions at once at any time. And that's pretty fun. The other thing I can do is I can substitute out my flesh golem for another skill, another elite, the lich form. And that's a really cool skill, but it belongs to Spectrals. And I think I'll probably show that in the next episode, since that's the very end of Spectrals and there'll be a lot to talk about. Here we go.
That's right. You're no match for my tank and the power of the Pact.
Run, you corrupted filth! If we can hold this point, we can cover our troops moving through.
The tank still needs some repairs, but it should be ready soon. They'll never be able to stop us as long as she stays running. I love that job.
Man, that's so cool. And they run off. This makes me just think of Ascalon and the Char up there. Of course, they've got their own adventures going on. It's harsh territory out in Hor. Or, we got a little team here. It wouldn't be nearly impossible to get closer to Zaitan. How's that? The Risen would overrun this rallying point and cut off our troops. Thankfully, we got reliable Char engineering. I thought the Pact were about more than one race. I'm sure the Pact could do it with other technology. I'm just telling you what I know. That we make some fine tanks. And the irony being that there's actually just some Asura casually hanging out here with some golems. Which are, you know, powerful in their own way. But cool. And now you notice the waypoint is available. And we can travel through out of the Straits of Devastation. And, you know, we'll have various trips back through here. Don't you guys worry. There's 2 big meta events here, actually. There's 2 as time goes forward. We're at a place that the Orions called Din al-Jindi? Which I don't know what that means. It tends to be you can kind of translate a lot of this stuff. Din al-Jindi? I'm not sure. Maybe the commenter can help us out on it. But yeah. It feels magic and crazy and different, doesn't it, at least? The northern coast of Or was once a verdant breadbasket for the kingdom. Now, it is dominated by the minions of the Elder Dragon, Zaitan. And here we are. This is one of the most beautiful places in the whole game, I believe, in terms of the skybox and stuff. Like, look at it. Look how corrupt and empty and isolated and sad it feels. Jesus. I mean, we don't actually have the Orion soundtrack, the Orion music going on right now, but it's crazy. I once upon a time did a video showing off the beauty of Guild Wars 2. With like graphical post-processing and stuff and just how amazing I think it looks if you're looking in the right places. And I ended that video with this shot right here of a dragon in the sky ominously flying around. I mean, this just makes me think of like Lord of the Rings, seeing the ring rays at the end of the 2 towers flying around the Mordor. It's amazing. We're going to go out there, guys. We're going to go out there. All right. But first of all, let's head on to see what Pact we have in the area as we travel further forward. Oh, hold on. There's an NPC right at the start of the map that I almost missed. Hello. Crusader Clean Blade. What's going on, man?
Fight with valor.
Why is your blade clean? Shouldn't you be destroying things, rending them asunder? Nothing warms the cockles like the sight of new troops coming through. If we're lucky, we'll get plenty of you lot across Malcolm's Leap and into the Cursed Shore. Alright, the Cursed Shore is the final map of the game. That's it. The most level 80 ultimate end map of Guild Wars 2. I mean, there is technically a second level 80 map in the Shiver Peaks we also have yet to talk about. But Cursed Shore is really where it all ends. Cursed Shore adjoins to the ruined city of Ra, which I guess is kind of its own map. So maybe you could call that the penultimate map. But this is the last, like, open world thing. It's across Malcolm's Leap, but can we make it there? What's going on there? We've got a tenuous foothold on the eastern front, but the main battle to the south at the gates of Ra could use a much bigger force than we have there now. You can never have too many troops. So you'll notice here, we are in the middle of a meta event called Pact Troops Move Out. It says, troop movement across the Theatre of Delight requires no assistance at present, but further updates will occur as new troops enter Malcolm's Leap. I love this. It's all like pushed and done, you know. It just goes to show that there's so many players running around, even in these core areas, you know, that released to the world 6 years ago, real time. There's still players here doing this stuff. It's amazing, you know. We constantly find other players around. So, here we are at the Theatre of Delight. We're at a waypoint called Pagas. As we walk through it, we've got Paga's Post, and these are the Asura, I guess, that have set up a place here. A guild, Raw, here has set up some banners that will increase my loot as I travel through, so thank you very much to that guild. What have we got going on here? Scholar Genevieve. There's an undead broodmother down there. You'd better watch yourself. She's a terror. All right, well, we could say yes and go do a dynamic event. I'm not too interested in that. Up here, we've got Scholar Goodag. No time to talk. If I don't remain absolutely vigilant every moment of my watch, horrible things could happen. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, but maybe non-physiology allows them to do this a bit better, eh? Do you get attacked often? Yes, day and night. Even those brief, darkish, light transitional periods between day and night. From the land, the sea, and sometimes when we least expect it, the air. The enemy is everywhere. Always.
Research is only as useful as its practical application.
And our response is, it's a good thing that you remain so vigilant. We got a human, Tactician Ryan.
Balthazar strengthened you.
Welcome to the Grinder. Make sure you stock up on the essentials. There's no telling when or if our next supply shipment will come. I love this. This line just like makes me think of the early development ideas of Guild Wars 2 where armor repair was important and buying potions was important, and there were like these actual RPG mechanics and ideas of stocking up on supplies. Oh, well. What's the Grinder? It's what we call the road from here to the cursed shore. The enemy throws every possible obstacle in the path of our troops. They grind away at each company until nothing remains. Look at this. I love the terminology that they use among the Pact forces. You know, the Grinder. It feels like a kind of contemporary modern wartime. Totally contrasted by this beautiful magical realm we're in here. Have we made any efforts to secure the region? There are small outposts and encampments strategically placed along the road out leading west, but chances are they're already wiped out. How does one survive out here? Stick with your allies. And if you intend to pursue any secondary objectives away from the primary one, try not to wander off alone. So yeah, you can kind of stick with the meta events, which will take you along the core roads. And I love the idea that Ore is all about one big push the whole way through. And players are just like building into these bigger and bigger zergs as they go. But practically speaking, that wasn't, I guess, tenable for the devs. The Zergs can only be a certain size, and it actually splits across multiple maps. You know, the Straits of Devastation and Malkor's Leap now, which is level 75 to 80 zone. And, you know, it just kind of never worked out that way in the end, especially when they ended up adding mega servers and changing the world, the way that worlds were structured. Here we get a scout.
The entrance to Ara lies beyond these cliffs, in the cursed shore. We have to make sure that Pact troops and supplies are able to travel unhindered through Malkor's Leap in that direction. We've identified 4 locations vital to keeping our lines open. Our objective, to keep these bases under Pact control.
Look at this, so Ibadiah Bats, we found the village of Ren, which some lore nerds from the original game might be freaking out about there. Don't worry, we will go. You got all kinds of things. Here we got Agent Fowlag.
Fight what cannot be fought.
Pact leaders sent word that there's major action on the cursed shore. Our orders are to keep the line secure so troops and equipment can get across Malkor's Leap and help the advance. Never have I seen a map in Guild Wars that talks about the next map so much. It really builds it up, doesn't it, right? Makes it exciting. We got this tent. There are people in here.
If you sacrifice nothing, you gain nothing.
This reminds me an awful lot of one of the early Char maps where inside one of these tents was hidden some unique dialogue that only played like once every hour and a half, and I just spent so long standing there waiting to record it. All right, so cool. We've spoken to everyone. This is Paga's Post. We will return to Paga's Post, and we will watch the road. You see these like waystones out here set up by the Orions, God knows how long ago, and the distant lands. We will go there. However, Trahan has a different mission for us. He wants us to go to the sheltered docks because we chose to visit Keita Mance, remember? Where there is a mouth of Zaitan. And, you know, that's going to be important for us to look at. So, moving on up, we have a POI just nearby with some old bulls. See, look, bulls at farmers. This is a perfect example. This is like where there are no fights and forces from Zaitan. He seems to have just passively used his necromantic elder dragon energy to reawake some of these guys. But look, he's farming. He thinks he's still like an Orion farmer, and he's just standing near a bull. Reminds me of like pre-searing, right? It's very strange. There's a researcher here.
Truth and knowledge are 2 different things.
Who says, a word of warning. Don't know how much experience you've had with the Risen, but you'll want to give them a wide berth. What are you doing here? The Priory sent me to observe the agrarian techniques of the Risen farmers, to note how farming techniques have changed the 2.5 centuries since ore disappeared into the sea. What have you noticed? If you watch them, they do the same thing, tiling away at the dead, barren soil with old, rotting implements, day and night, despite the fact that nothing can grow here. It's just what they know to do. They never stop. They will stop if you get too close. Then they use that farm tool to attack you, not stopping until one of you is a lifeless heap on the same dead soil. If it's you, they simply go back to their tilling. Sounds tragic. The tragedy is they only kill because we're trespassing on their land. If we'd left them to their existence, they'd just be farmers, corrupted but peaceful. In a way, we're making them killers. And then, you know, that's a really cool idea, obviously, if you rob all context of the fact that Zhaitan is also sending forces out to the rest of the world and expanding. Zhaitan made them killers. They were peaceful before they were arisen. Oh, no, I guess Caraflower's got a very good point there as well, actually, that she makes. But yeah, it's so cool that they put that dialogue there, right as there's NPCs to tip you off to wonder about these things, you know? The POI she was standing at is called Alajarin Bait. I think bait must mean something, right? It particularly is a real-world concept. Speaking of which, there's a risen chicken, an undead chicken. Oh my god, and it dropped some good loot for us as well. It dropped some rare, level 80, condition damage, and power pants from a chicken. That's actually really good loot for Caraflower. Let's kill this bull and equip him. Actually, I don't want to equip him because then we'll have to reskin our armor and stuff, so we won't worry about that too much. But yeah, if you look over here... You see these archways? You see this ethereal, eerie purple glow? You see that mysterious opening there? That is where we're headed. That's the Keita Mant at Waste Hollows. Keita being particularly regarded for Guild Wars 1 players as a mesmer entity. So, join me next episode here at the Shelter Docks where our story will continue and we will meet up with our forces and do as Trahearne bids. Also, one of the coolest things in all of Ore is right here at this outpost, the Shelter Docks, where we get to do history lessons to do with lore, so check it out. These scrolls are a part of a larger work entitled The Guild Wars. Read The Guild War. The Third Guild War began in 1013 AE in Ascalon-Kryta. Records state that public opinion began to go against their leaders, believing the guilds to be stronger than their local governments. The nation of Ore, however, believed itself favoured of the gods, and the Orions stayed neutral in the face of the larger human war. But Ascalon-Kryta brought their war to that nation. Ore rose to defend itself, escalating the conflict and resulting in casualties that eclipsed those of the previous two guild wars combined. In time, the Char sought to take advantage of the infighting among the human nations and launched an assault of their own against the distracted foes. And 57 years later, a tragic series of events and the unleashing of dark magic led to the war's end and the devastation of Ore. The nation was lost to the sea, along with most of its populace. Okay, so you get all this really badass lore. What that's talking about is what led to Ore's destruction. And it's old stuff, but it's also expanded on because we're in the sequel. So like here, it just, what did it just say? 57 years. So now we know kind of how long the Char had been trying to take advantage of the conflict before finally the Cataclysm and stuff happened, which was right at the start of Guild Wars 1, yeah? So, and there's so many cool things about the gods and just about Ore and amazing things. There's a dynamic event here as well where you have to answer questions about what you learned in these scrolls. It's brilliant, and we will be going through those next time, as well as with the Mouth of Zhaitan. So, cheers, guys. Or what we presume the Mouth of Zhaitan is in there. Which is a really fun instance as well, by the way. This arc we're about to do is badass. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Malkor's Leap. I'll see you for the next episode very soon. Caraflower's really in the thick of it, huh?